What it is, Bulls fans, we've come along all the way to Pimville, Soweto, to PDL Lifestyle to, of course, join along in the watch-along for Bafana against Tunisia. Big game where Bafana, of course, we have the chance to secure their place in the knockout stages of a thrilling Afcon so far.
I love how you always bring in your commentator voice, yeah? Like, it's so cute. But anyway, clearly he's in the mood. We're in the mood. Everybody's in the mood. We're watching Bafana. Listen, changes here and there in the squad, and it's a big talking point. Let's find out what everybody has to say as we watch Bafana, and of course, as the game concludes. All right, joining me now, Delman Favor, of course, one of our best journalists in the country, repping, of course, South Africa. Delman, quick one, how are you feeling?
Excited, optimistic. I'm looking at a 2-0. Nothing too hectic. We don't need another 4-0. We need a 2-0. And hopefully we get a positive draw afterwards.
Look, it's going to be a tough one, but I think Bafana have obviously turned the corner now. So after the 4-0, I think the confidence is high. Yeah. And I think we're going to get away with probably around a 2-0. That's my prediction.
Any worries? What do you think of the Tunisian squad with what you've seen so far from them?
Look, the Tunisian squad, it's a bit of a tough case because they've come off a defeat against Namibia, so they're looking to retaliate. Third on the continent, I'm sure they'll look to show their stuff. But with the support of the South African nation, yeah, I'm sure we can go through to the next round and show Tunisia what we're made of.
It's going to be difficult, yeah, obviously, but I feel like Bafana is going to take it. I'm not going to give a score. Mara, I'm going to
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting game, very close in the early stages. I've got Bafana winning 2-1.
2-1. Yeah. Gents, I hope you're both right, and let's hope to celebrate after all of this, yeah?
So the invite said, bring on, of course, your favorite jersey, and as you can tell, Baga Juju is doing exactly that. All right, so who's scoring the goals?
I think Chambers will score. Maybe Tau or Evidence Lewandowski Mahopa. So yeah.
Lewandowski, you hear that? Love it. Back in studio. A lot of positivity, great to see. Hello and welcome. This is the Arena Sports Show, where we normally look into what's happening in the world of sports, but because South Africa pulled one out of the bag, we're staying on in the Afcon, and we're continuing to look into, of course, the Africa Cup of Nations that's currently ongoing. I know a lot of journalists in South Africa are ready to go to the airport, but not just yet, because we continue on, we march on, of course, into the last 16 against Morocco come Tuesday. Hopefully, of course, we'll be able to knock out Morocco. My name is Claire Grace Mfanza. I'm never alone. Of course, we've got my panel who's always alongside me. Two gentlemen who, when they said, keep it simple and short, they defied that law. They said, no ways. The one I understand, Matlatin Patlele, he's tall, so you always have to, make long points. I get it. Caesar Mabena, I mean, you're short. I don't understand why his point's gotta be long, but it's okay. We forgive him.
From commentary.
From commentary.
Too much time commentating.
Talking alone, yeah? So we understand that. But we've got a special guest today. Absolutely excited. We've been spending a good hour and a half with him here in studio. Of course, he is the goalkeeper coach, instructor at FIFA, CAF, and SAFA. This is Alejandro Heredia, but we call him, of course, Alex. Coach, I'll start with you because you're our special guest today. How are you doing?
Oh, very well. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here.
The pleasure is all ours, Coach. Is the Afcon treating you right?
Everything is all right. It's perfect.
I'm glad you've got your special expertise because we'll be talking about that. And my usual camps, how are you guys doing?
All good.
Can't complain. I have to say, I'm happy that we've qualified for the last 16, but that's it. I still think there's a lot of work to be done.
There is a lot of work to be done, just like how you always miss the memo. Everybody's on black and you decide to wear...
Black pants.
Just black pants?
Doesn't read his emails, eh?
No, he doesn't read his emails clearly. Do better, Caesar Mabena. All right, gentlemen, we'll start with you, Coach. I mean, we've seen from the fans feeling very positive ahead of the game. What was your analysis, looking into that Tunisia and Bafana game, and also bearing in mind the previous games that they've played? What have you made of South Africa so far?
Well, let me say, happy to qualify and with expectations in the future. I mean, I think Bafana have a very bad start in the first game. Was no structure from my point of view. Play very timid, very not with energy what we're supposed to have. And later on, we play for the second game against Namibia, what is a fantastic game, with a little bit less quality team. But nevertheless, really Bafana performed, scoring goals, and was a clean sheet, what is something very, very important. And against Tunisia, I think the Bafana progressed from the first game to the second and the third. It was a very tactically very well organized. I think Coach Bruce was really planning together with Hellman and Grant, planning the tactics excellently, and works. Possibly works, and I think everybody, us and South Africa at all, very happy about that, but with certain expectations, because obviously coming a big task in front of us.
Coach, I want to stay with you a little bit here, because with Brahmatlati and we've been talking about Ronwen Williams, right? And there's also on social media a lot of criticism about his leadership. A lot of people feel that he's quiet. And my argument, Coach, is there's no need. You don't have to be loud. So I'm hoping you can vindicate me here. What do you make of Ronwen's leadership in South Africa?
Personality. I have the opportunity to work in SuperSport with him. And I think we gave the first game against Brazil when we lost 5-0, remember, in FNB Stadium. He's a solid, he's a natural leader, but he's a quiet leader. Not necessarily need to be a loud voice and be so spectacular in any action. He is very influential with the other players, and he do the job. Basically, this is the thing. And besides performing regular basis, is not 0 to 10, is not a 9-10 goalkeeper points, but is 7-8 regularly. Can make mistake here and there, but when you mention the leadership, is a natural leadership. In the change rooms, not necessarily, like I say, is loud, explosive, but he's very precise and say the right words in the right moment. I think this is make a difference for Rowan and the rest of the team.
Yeah, Mabena.
What do you make of those that have the feeling that goalkeepers during a game now, not necessarily in the change room, but during the game, are expected to maybe be very vocal in organizing and keeping the defense structured and informed? And well, maybe feel that Ronwen, in that regard, may be a little quiet.
Well, you know, this is one of the big issues about goalkeeping. When we conducting courses and talking to the goalkeepers, he need to be loud to who? He need to be loud enough for the people around him.
Yes.
He don't need to be loud for the commentators.
I agree. Thank you, Coach.
Or the coaches, journalists.
Yes.
To say, hey, I say Cooper. No. He need to be loud enough for the people around him to be heard.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing very well. And it's not only about loud, it's precise, it's concise.
Yes.
The instruction is very short, very brief. Say, pick it up this, man behind. Whatever he have to say is for the people around him.
Yeah.
And the shout of the goalkeepers, in certain aspect, is to intimidate the opponent. And he can do it.
Yeah.
He can do it. You know, imagine we have a big goalkeepers, heavy goalkeepers coming out for the ball with the knee up to create elevation, and then say, keeper! It's a natural thing, human being. A striker will, how can I say, this type of intimidation, yes, loud enough. Intimidation in the terms of football, but Rowan managed very well this point.
Thank you, Coach. I am happy, as I've been fighting this battle for a good 3 weeks now. I'm tired, so I'm glad from a goalkeeping department, and you've got so much accolades to your name. So at least we can take that. We can definitely take that.
I agree with the coach.
Of course you would agree, Brahmatlati, because we were actually talking off air, just to bring you in a little bit, and we were talking about how Coach Alex has played such a big role in your life, and how when he answers the call now, it's World Cup champion talking. How you doing? How has your relationship been with the coach? And I mean, we've seen him as well in Bafana, 2002. Part of the team. Bafana, 2013 as well, when we were hosting, still part of it. Your evolution and your relationship with the coach.
Yeah, well, I come a long way with the coach.
A long way.
And I mean, those who don't know, in my other life, I used to be a club official, so we were together at Sundowns. I think around 2007, 8, 9, he was the goalkeeper coach at Sundowns when I was there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I learned a lot from him. He's one of the people who I respect very, very highly in football. I think he can be a head coach. I really believe that he can. He's not only just a goalkeeper coach, because you sit with him, you talk football, and you learn a lot. And I used to sit with him, the late Ted, Trappa, Trotmoloto, Simon Ngomani. Sudhaj Singh, and people who would sit in a room and do match analysis. And at that time, I really didn't know much about match analysis, and I would sit in there and just listen to them talk about football. And those were the enlightening moment for me as a journalist. That maybe sometimes you go to a stadium and look at a match in a particular way.
For sure.
We don't look at a match in an analytical manner. Sometimes even now, I still pick up a phone and speak to some guys who are coaches that I know when I'm watching a football match to say, but what do you think of that? What do you think of that? Which is the way that I look football. And I've learned a lot from him. And I'm just a bit sad that he's not really making that much of a contribution to our football, because I still believe that he can work at any of these clubs as a goalkeeper coach. Because, some of the keepers that he worked with have really gone on to do bigger things. Guys like the late Senzo Meiwa, talk about, Ronwen, the guys at Sundowns. And he works with big goalkeepers also. Brian Baloyi and many other guys. And Bafana, he has been around for long, and he's really a man that you can make use of in our football, because we want to take goalkeeping forward. And more so now that we really don't have a good crop of South African goalkeepers in the country.
Two things, it's not only, the analysis that you learned from Coach Alex here. It's in how you speak, Brahmatlati. You might not see it, but I was watching you guys off air when you were talking. You make the same hand gestures, and I'm like, okay, no, they clearly spent a lot of time.
Yeah, when you spend a lot of time with people, mannerisms, you pick up stuff from them. And
no, it's great.
You used to laugh, me and him, and also Harris Shew, a good friend of him. And so we used to have a lot of fun behind the scenes, and lots of stories that we can talk about.
Definitely.
Yes, I must say, Malatsi in Sundowns was very talented, as usual, right now, but was very young in the time. Was very young, was a very new task and a very difficult environment. What is Sundowns in the time start to build up.
For sure.
Not basically the team, because the team was very solid and winning the league with Gamondi and Neil Tovey, and later with Gordon Igelson. But the structure of the team in your time is not the team we see today.
For sure.
And well, I have to make a big difference, and you grow tremendously.
I go in there and I find the coach already.
We heard about that one. I love this moment, cute bro moments. We're here for it. We'll, give you a bit of bromance now and again. You can indulge in that. But Coach, I mean, sticking to what, of course, Matlati was mentioning in terms of, helping the South African game, in terms of developing it, right? Talk to us about your thoughts when you look into South Africa currently. I mean, you've been with us for quite some time. And when you study South Africa, the national team, the PSL, the progression that we've made, or regression, depending on your opinion, where do you think we are?
Well, let me give you a little bit of background about the story. I came in here in 1982. It's a long way. I became a Matlala in Africa.
You picked up the terms.
I came very, very young, and I've been involved. I only played for two teams in South Africa, was Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. And I am a physical educator by trade, and it was easy for me to follow all the coaching courses. And I did all the coaching courses which you can imagine, from the pro license to the introductory courses.
sure.
And in Bafana, I cover 128 games. It's a long way.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, in the youth, from Bantuana to under 23, I cover more than 200 games
Sure.
as a goalkeeper coach. And lucky me, I have tremendous good goalkeepers over the years.
Yeah.
And many of them performing in Bafana, since Steve Crowley, talking about Hans Fonk, and talking about Valoy, Calvin Marlin, Wendell Robinson. We have a number of quality goalkeepers over the years. You know, of course, like Senso Meiwa was really a real pity. Kune of today, and the newcomers like Robin Williams and Motua and Ricardo Goss, Peterson, Ria Peterson, is a newcomers. But what happened, in my opinion, the goalkeeper is being deteriorated.
Sure.
Because over the years, PSL, clubs in PSL using foreigners goalkeepers. And then when you're going to choose, for example, last season, I'm completely sure between eight or nine goalkeepers in the PSL were foreigners.
Sure.
Or be part of the team. Means they block the opportunity for our young goalkeepers to perform. And we always talking, no, we have Buma, we have Peterson, we have Ria, but they already, Ricardo Goss, but they are already 30 years old.
Yeah.
This is the reality. Time passes quickly for everyone. Now, the process of the from goalkeeping point of view, in terms of goalkeeping, we have tremendous names and performance over the years. The list is endless. But currently, we have good goalkeepers, but not really top, because the continuity of performing. And saying that is the case of Robin Williams. Robin is, I think, is starting with Gavin Hunt in SuperSport. He was 18 or 19 years old and never looked back up to now. The difference with the rest of the goalkeepers, you see Motua or you see Ricardo, he have continuity year after year.
For sure.
And performing regularly. Now, on the other hand, Bafana, well, we're progressing. I believe the football make a huge change.
Okay.
And we also did. We also did a good progression. But unfortunately, the people, everybody see performance.
Yeah.
Everybody see results. And see the results don't coming out, we are not good.
Yeah.
But I think we have right now, today, a lot of academies, a lot of good teams, a lot of coaching licenses in being approved. A lot of people complain. But I think it's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Why we're going to have in the PSL a C licensed coach when we have A licensed coach. We don't need foreigners. We have quality people here.
For
We
sure.
need to give the opportunity. Football to me progress. Soccer is getting better, but be patient and give it time, and we're going to perform.
Coach, what do you feel for those that look at the current situation with South African football and say, look, the league is getting better. The league is so strong that we've got 7 players or so at Sundowns in the starting lineup for Bafana. Thus, with now the league clubs or Sundowns able to compete on the continent in Champions League and so on, it makes the national team even better. But we could even get the league to improve if we were to say foreigners coming in need to be of a certain standard. Maybe an international standard or junior international standard. What about that thought? Some people are saying we could get even better with our league that way.
Yeah, well, we touch a very sensitive point.
Yes.
Because, yes, we have a lot of foreigners in PSL, not necessarily the best of the best. Cannot say names. We have quality players before, currently good players, foreigners, but I think we always talking about say the point or mention the points and not give solutions. To regulate better quality of foreigners coming to PSL. Some group of people, maybe from SAFO, PSL, whoever, to evaluate the foreigners coming to South Africa, make sure they are quality players. It's the only way we going to rise the standard with foreigners. But personally, the standard is good enough.
Mahlati, you've had this conversation before. I mean, they've called some players squeeze. You've had conversations with coaches where, you know, they're like, right now, right? But when you now look into Bafana, I mean, here we are into the last 16. We play against Morocco. Talk to us about last night's encounter. I mean, we saw Themba Zwane winning that man of the match accolade, and a lot of people have been raising eyebrows.
You want to get him into trouble now?
I'm not trying to get you into trouble from Mahlati. But talk to us about perhaps, you know, who you think deserved, did Mshishi deserve it? And of course the overall performance from, I mean, South Africa, yes, we saw we were playing quite the low block, which I found quite interesting because I guess, yes, the aim was not for us to win, but at the same time, we didn't know how Namibia was playing. So it was a bit of a tricky one to go into.
Yeah, I guess it was a tentative match. I wasn't overly impressed. I think, as you say, that you know, Bafana found the equation was there, and then they played the equation. They needed what they knew what they needed to do, avoid defeat, and then we were through there. But that can be a problem because I watched in the last few minutes of that match. They were coming. They score a goal, and then it changes everything. So it was a riskier kind of way they went about it. And also the other thing that I felt maybe lacked, you want to arrive at the last 16 with a win for the sake of the confidence. The guys will be, you know, there will be more excitement. I know they were celebrating after the match, but what are you celebrating because you didn't win a match, you know? So, you know, it could have been better if they had won that match for their sake. In that sense, for me, that was a bit of a disappointment. But at the same time, they did what they had to do. We are in the last 16 of an Afcon. That box was ticked. And I'm happy about that, even though I'm not happy about the performance. I still feel, if you compare, you know, the Senegals and the other teams, you know, they were emphatic in their performances. They were strong. They dominated oppositions. Big players. We didn't have that. We were strong against the Namibia side that really we should be strong against them at any given time, with due respect to them. You know, I don't know how things are going to turn out against Morocco. It may be a different story altogether, you know, but we will deal with Morocco when we get there. For now, that box of getting into the next round has been ticked. And I'm happy about that, and I'm sure the players and the coach are happy about that. Coming to the man of the match.
Because I'm like, why is this man avoiding it? Because, hey, you're going this side.
Hey! You know, at any given day, I mean, you know, Mshishi will be an influential player for you. You know, to borrow from Coach Piso, when he started dancing, things happen, you know. And he was not really at his element yesterday. Sometimes Mshishi can get a game by the scruff of his neck and control stuff. He didn't. I guess it's because of the level of quality that you play against. Sometimes, if you play against the quality of Tunisia, even though the Tunisia didn't really, you know, take it up to another level, but you still have got good individual players who can test you in a match situation. He didn't really get the game in the scrum of the neck. I just don't think that he was the man of the match. Tebza, maybe. And my favorite player, my favorite player at the moment, Obremudiba, who when he does his things, you know, I think he's a very key player for us. But Tebza, in that role, him and Pepelo, they were tidy. They made sure that the system works as it should.
Yeah.
And I think Debza, I will give it my man of the match.
Yeah, and it's so easy at times. I find it over football over the years, for football watchers to miss the deep lying midfielder because he's doing all the hard work, and then you can see the number 10 or the creative player because he's doing all the pretty work. But I thought Tebza was terribly influential. The quality of his set pieces as well was something we could work with. We came close to scoring on 1 or 2 occasions in that regard. But I think his quality, Debo Mokoena, he's always been quality. Came in through a good football upbringing, similar to Runman at SuperSport United. Same age, more or less, slightly younger than Runman. And younger, slightly. Him and Mudiba, I think their football upbringing and the way they've moved up to Sundowns and into the international scene is beautiful and understated maybe in some people's views.
It definitely is. Coach, before we wrap this up, I want to find out from you, which South African players have stood out for you in this AFCON tournament? The AFCON currently from Bafana, who do you think has, stood out the most and done the best of their ability?
Look, I'm very, very impressed, definitely, with the Swane. There's no doubt about it. Percy Tau do his part. But this, to me, I agree with Siswe and Malazzi, Tebza Mokoena is the leader, is a real personality there. And it's another 2 players who really impressed me so much. What is Mbala and Kekana. They creating a lot of stability. The team looks much better in terms of in front. Rowan have Mbala and Kekana, and he feel confident, he's solid. These 3 players impress me so much. The usual ones, like we say, Swane and Percy Tau. But Tebza, tremendous impact in the middle. And the other player who I think make a difference is Makova.
He's been getting a lot of criticism.
A lot of criticism, but you need to see and understand football. Maybe he don't score or put the ball inside the net, but the amount of work he does, the amount of running, the personality to be in front of the 2 opponents, central defenders, really need guts, really need power to be there. And the amount of work he did was huge in the games he performed. To me, was a good impression, really.
All right, on that note, let's quickly look into what you have been saying, of course, in the social media streets, because we got to stay abreast of what's happening in the social media streets. We'll start on X. So we do know that Joe Bertrand then says, happy for Coach Hugo Bros to guide SA to the next stage. He got so much criticism in the last years and so many fake fans that wanted Bafana to fail in the group stages. Now his experience of having won an AFCON with Cameroon before will help the players tremendously in the knockouts. We are not favorites against Morocco, but we can do it for sure if we are 110%. And then the next one, Bafana have played Morocco a couple of times recently. Sundowns players are used to the Moroccan mentality. I am not phased at all, Bafana Kaufela. And then there's an interesting one from Sonwabile saying that, guys, even if Bafana wins the tournament, this brew has to go. And this brew being Dr.
Coach.
Danny Jordan.
Okay.
I don't know how we got to that one. And then the last one, he almost drank us dry. This is from Barroso. He almost drank us dry today. It's a picture of Percy Tau saying that Percy thinks he is Bafana. No team play, hogging our attack, no tracking back, lost possession too many times. In short, he frustrated the team. Hence, Mokoena took the shot, which was a first shot at goal. Very selfish. He must be benched. Coach, talk to us about Percy, because a lot of fans have been crying about Percy and accusing him of being selfish.
Look, he's a quality player, no discussion about it. He performing internationally. He performed every time coming to the game. Yes, it's a selfishness of the playmaker. I put it that way, can allow him to lose the ball a couple of times, because he's the one who creating things. If we compare with Swane is more solid in terms of passing and creation.
Yeah.
But I can say Swane can finishing, and Percy make a lot of actions around the box and allowed him to lose the ball a couple of times. I think he's still great player, he's good players, and he's still very influential in the team and all the other teammates. Really is make a difference.
He definitely does, Coach. He is from the province of the rising sun.
Oh
On
my
that
God.
note, let's find out. I just had to throw it there. Let's find out, of course, some of the reactions that we had yesterday after the Bafana game. A lot of positivity, and of course, we've got a special shout out. So stay tuned on this one.
No.
All right, so there we have it. Bafana 03. Andrew joining me now. Talk to us, your thoughts. Convincing for Bafana a draw?
Well managed. We can't give them that. I won't lie. I feel like we should have taken the advantage come the 70th minute where we actually have progressive football and the opportunity to actually take Tunisia out and take them out of the tie completely. But I won't lie. Game management first half until the 70th minute. Well managed. Well done, Bafana. As it should be. Textbook football.
Yeah, we're through, and I think that's the most important thing right now. I mean, they had us at the edge of our seats there towards the end because, you know, when it's goalless, anything at the end can happen. And Tunisia obviously trying to get that goal that would send them through to the next round. But we threw. It wasn't pretty, but the most important thing is that we threw. And I always say that once you get to the knockout phase of a competition, anything can happen. We are there, and let's see how far we can go.
I think we had a shocker in the first game, quite an awakening. I think we also then learned that tournament football is about results. I think it's the Namibia game and tonight's game we showed that actually we can win ugly if we need to and get the result. So ultimately we're now through. We're quite excited about that.
Yo, my queen, I'm so excited. Even though it was not an easy game, you know what? It is like President Ramaphosa. You know, it was a tough game, and but I'm so excited that we made it to the top 16. As a country, I think our team, Bafana players, they have to take this serious and fight. This stage is tough. It's not going to be easy at all. They have to go there knowing that we are behind them. And indeed, we are behind them.
The game was very easy for us. I think how Tunisia was playing, they were trying to put pressure from the left-hand side because we had a lot of problems, especially with Mudau.
Yeah.
But yes, immediately when Newcomobi came through, I think there were a bit of changes in how we handled the game and more defensive work instead of going forward quite a lot. So yeah, in that terms, I think it was a great game for us.
One thing that I noticed today about Pesitao is that he's a bit selfish.
Oh.
Yes, I'm being honest. Release the ball. Don't keep the ball to yourself. You've been relevant is enough. But from now on, just keep out the ball. Keep on moving because once you stop, you prepare the opponent to see your movement. Hey. Yes. So the only way to make this happen, release the ball. Keep on moving. We need that energy. It was a bit slow today. I don't want to lie to you, especially for me.
I think for us is that we've shown that we can actually mix it up.
Yeah.
I think is our concern would be around just the options in the front. I would have wanted to see a little bit more of Lepasa so that he can get some run in the competition. But nonetheless, knockout football is that. I think we need to start looking at the penalties because it can get to that. So we need to be ready for anything. Besides, it's a tournament of surprises. So actually, I have no fear.
Myself, Mamelodi Maka, I don't have a team, but my team is national team now. So Bafana has to make me proud. Serious. I guess that team, Celtics is gone. So you are my only hope, guys. Please, thank you. Assembly talk.
Bafana Kaupela.
Lastly, just tell the viewers what you expect in the number of matches you expect South Africa to play in this tournament.
We want to play all 7.
7?
Yeah.
By 7, we mean final.
ultimately it's a final. Actually, if you get to the semis, you then play the third and fourth playoff too. So ultimately, I won 7 games from the boys.
All right, lastly, I'm throwing you offside a little bit. Mahlatin Patlele is not here, but he's in studio. Quick message to him.
I always call him my legend. He's a legend. He must give me a ride in his Range Rover. He knows what I'm talking about.
Please do so. Back in studio.
Well, of course, we've heard from some of the fans and the journalists after that Bafana and Tunisia encounter. Definitely exciting. Had us on the edge towards the end of the game. Interesting comment from Tsipang Malone, of course, is one of our journalists, saying that Brahmasati, my favorite influencer, you gotta give him a lift in your Range Rover. I haven't seen this Range Rover personally. Where is it? What is it on about?
I distance myself from that statement.
I see what he's doing.
What?
He comes low key. That's how we know. Meanwhile, back home, he's going to range. What else? What other luxury cars do you have? You don't know about?
Well, it's fine. We'll let it go. But, gentlemen, I mean, we've got a big task ahead of us come Tuesday. Coach, we'll start with you, right? We're playing Morocco, and it's going to be testing. I mean, you spoke earlier on about perhaps the lack of structure that we had in our opening game, and then going to Namibia, yes, a bit of confidence there against a low-side team who we should be dominating. Against a side like Morocco, who have done so well in the previous World Cup, what are your expectations? How does South Africa come out of this one?
Well, in football, always say the game is 11 against 11. And in my opinion, saying before, Bafana have a bad start, scoring goals against Namibia, and manage the team tactically very well. They, like Malansi say very well, was a plan, and the team, the players follow the plan and become successful. Now we'll see what is the ideas of the coach and the coaches for the next game. But definitely yes, one thing for sure, Morocco is Morocco. But we have to play. They have to play, and they have to play a very hungry and determined team.
For sure.
If I make a little comment, I have the opportunity to talk to Scaloni in FIFA, the coach of Argentina. Okay,
there we go.
World Cup champion.
Go champion.
And he say, of course, the scouting, choosing the right players, but in the end of the day, they create a huge spirit, a huge enthusiasm and camaraderie is in English. Really, they manage to make the team play for each other. And this make a difference to win or lose the World Cup. They lost the first game and they win everything else. Penalties, no penalties, whatever is the case, they are the world champions. And Scaloni mentioned, he said, we manage to make the team spirit very, very high, temperament very high. And I think after the process of Bafana, from losing to scoring goals and manage well tactically the team, Morocco have a problem, definitely.
I like that, and I think we need a second episode where you visit us again, because we need more time to unpack that. I've been talking about this Argentina, so I'm glad I've got a fellow Argentinian to unpack this with. All right, so we switch it over a bit. We cross over to Cote d'Ivoire now to speak to one of our journalists in Mthokozisi Dube from Far Post. Mto, comment ça va? Thank you for joining us.
Ça va bien.
Listen, that's where it ends.
Ça va, mon ami, et toi? Merci, oui, merci.
Bonjour, mon frère.
Yeah, well, I don't do much.
Thank you. But Mto, how is Cote d'Ivoire? How is, of course, the village? I'm told you don't have a mall there. How are you navigating Cote d'Ivoire currently?
Look, we are in Korogo. Very small town, some 500 kilometers from Abidjan, the capital. Very quiet town, but yesterday I think it was quite exciting for the locals. I mean, seeing Morocco beat Zambia and ensuring that they will stay in the tournament. So they've become even nicer, after tomorrow, because they were a bit grumpy after they lost to Equatorial Guinea. That 4-0 got them very, very grumpy. So we were afraid that the worst would happen. But otherwise, I think it's been good. The weather, extremely hot conditions. I mean, it goes up to about 37 degrees during the day. During the night, it drops to about 28. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience.
So I want to stay with the protest a little bit, where you're touching on being afraid, right? I remember with Ghana, they were not happy with their performance, where the journalists, so from journalist to journalist, they went on to confront, of course, the players in the bus, saying that, no, we're not happy with these players, some of them can go. What was going on there, just briefly, without staying too long with Ghana?
The result meant they were out of the competition. The journalists then went to the mixed zone because they wanted to speak to the players. But then the team bus was moved to ensure that they would bypass the journalists and not speak to them. So the Ghana journalists were not happy about that. So they started, shouting and hailing insults at the coach, saying he's a loser. They started screaming at players, saying they must come and speak to them. So I think the anger stemmed from that, and eventually, I think the players then had to walk away and be taken away. So it was quite an unfortunate incident. I think we saw an almost similar thing yesterday, but not as bad, in Morocco after the Tunisia game. I mean, the Tunisian players walking past journalists, and journalists obviously unhappy and registering their displeasure at that. So, and the fans as well. They were livid. So that's what we've witnessed.
All right, let's bring it back then to South Africa, and of course then them being able to go to the last 16. First thing first, I don't know how yourself and the other journalists in Cote d'Ivoire currently were feeling ahead of the Tunisia game, but here in South Africa, some of the journalists were ready to welcome you guys back. I saw, some of the journalists saying, oh my goodness, we're not going back home yet. Talk to us about the performance, perhaps also some of the things that you witnessed them talk, because one thing about the game, Abena, you've noticed when you're at the stadium, you will notice certain elements where you don't see when you're watching TV. So perhaps what could we have missed in that encounter?
Yeah, look, I mean, going to the stadium, Mashatu gave me some good advice. Say, please make sure you eat, and because we don't want problems after the game. So I made sure I ordered some good pap and was strong. But I think what I picked in the build up to the game was that the Bafana players were so hungry. There was this desire to say, listen, we could actually do something special in this tournament. I think we're going to go out there and give our best. I think that's the message that I got. Also, just speaking to some of them on the side and saying what's happening in camp, what are the guys saying, and everyone is saying, listen, we want to fight and make sure that we get this thing. And then, obviously, during the game, I think it was a very difficult game, but I think they managed to hold on and get that draw, but maybe the blow was obviously Kuliso's injury, which sounds is more serious than we think, because apparently he twisted his ankle, and obviously when Nico Mobi came, obviously the performance dropped, on the right wing. So bit of a concern now going into the next game, but also the coach's body language. I think in the first game I was obviously concerned because he was sitting against Mali. We didn't really see him standing, but yesterday we saw him, standing and backing instructions with the players and just pushing them to go all out there and try and get that result. So I think we've got to the round of 16, but not a very convincing performance. I think we need to pull our socks if we're going to progress beyond this.
So let's focus now, of course, on Tuesday, right? We've got a big task ahead of us against Morocco. Yes, the players are still positive, which is great to hear. I love hearing that. But now, what's our game plan? And I'm glad that you touched on, of course, that injury there. So what does then Bafana look like? We saw no changes in the last encounter because, of course, why fix it if it's broken? We saw that victory against Namibia. So now going into this one, what are some of the changes that you're hearing? Possible changes, if that is.
Yeah, look, I think going into the interesting thing about this tournament, I think I've seen different sides to Bafana. In the first game, obviously trying to play the ball, and that didn't work. And then in the second game, I saw a different Bafana. They played the long ball, were able to take their chances. So going into that game again, well, they did the opposite of what the minister said. The minister said should knock the ball around. You know, and it worked. So I think going into the game against Morocco, because fortunately I've been sitting in front of the team analyst in Mexico, and I can hear him saying, "Yeah, but we practice this. You know, we had a conversation about this." So you'll be shouting, you know, from the stand. So you can see there's a bit of analysis that goes into you know, the games, because before the game against Namibia, I was actually telling him, and I was saying they can actually take advantage of that right wing where Ryan Yambe plays, because it's very slow and he loves venturing forward. So he tells me, he says, "No, we've watched his game like over 10 times and we've seen what kind of player he is." So I think going into Morocco, they will obviously look at the kind of football that Morocco plays, and you know, come up with a plan on how to beat Morocco. But the one thing that I've learned from this tournament is that you need to play tournament football here if you want to win. You won't come here and say you're knocking the ball around and playing pretty and want to win games. No, you need to adapt. And I had a chat with Pesita, who he tells me, he says, "Look, we didn't play my game, the game that I'm used to, but I'm glad we've managed to get a result, and I want to adjust." I asked him, "Do you feel you've done very well in that new role that you've been given?" And he said to me, "Look, I feel I haven't really hit top gear. I want to, you know, improve in terms of my performances and influence the game." I think we saw a few moments in yesterday's game where Percy, you know, had opportunities to maybe take on a player and, you know, put in a cross or shoot, but that didn't happen. Maybe because of fatigue. I think one of the players did say that when they woke up yesterday, they felt very tired. You know, so maybe the rest now, because there's 5 days in between, will give them time to just you know, refresh and go into that Morocco game fresh and you know, try and get a result.
Definitely. Gentlemen, any question, or we say goodbye, Simto?
Yeah, I think we say goodbye.
We say goodbye?
Pretty much covered
He's
it
been
all.
talking for too long now.
You're releasing him now. How do you say goodbye in French again?
Au revoir.
Au revoir, mon ami.
Cheers, Simto. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, merci.
Cheers. All right, Mabena, before that, I want to start with you, Coach, right? I mean, we talk about the changes, and I remember we spoke about the versatile players, and he speaks about Percy, you know, being used in a different role. And we spoke about Aubrey Modiba as well, where your mentee next to you was saying, I like Aubrey when he does that inverting thing. Yeah, he excites me when he inverts a little bit more. Talk to us about the players and the roles that they play and your impression on that.
Well, in the case of Modiba, the priority is to be defensive, particularly in the last game. And I think, in my opinion, the intention is to have an extra player in attack from the left side, what he performed in the previous games, but definitely not in the last one. I think he can be influential, he's solid, he knows what to do, he knows how to defend, and definitely he can go in attack well enough and make a good service from his flank. I think he's an instrumental player.
He definitely is.
I'd like to pick Alejandro's brain here. And firstly, by mentioning goals make the world go round. We've seen so many goals to this AFCON. I think we had an average of 2.47 goals a game. And so far, out of 3 matches, Bafana, yes, they scored 4 goals, but that was in 1 match. Now, going forward into the knockout stages, is that a bit of a concern? And for those that may look at that as a concern, are they right in doing so from a South African point of view, goal scoring? I mean, the first chance at goal yesterday on target, I think, was late in the game, maybe around the 80th minute or so.
Yeah, well, like we mentioned before, we can forget about the first game. Really was off.
Yes.
The whole team, Bafana, the spectators, everybody become frustrated and really didn't perform well.
Yeah.
The game is a game. We lost and accepted. And I think they tried to build up the temperament after the next game. Yes, we scored 4 goals, no conceded, what is great thing. With a little bit weaker team in terms of Morocco, if we want to compare. And against Tunisia, yes, it was a different roles of the players. Makova was not a full-time striker in the front. He was moving on the side to create disturbances between the defenders. The left back didn't go many times. The Suarez was just playing the middle, not in the last third. Persita was going up and down to basically defensive role in many occasions. Yes, was a different role with the tactics, with the same type of players being given the opportunity. I mean, motivation is a huge thing. Against Morocco, I think, I'm sure the coaches have a plan. What will be quite different. The first game when we was really out, scoring goals against a weaker team, tactically very good against Tunisia. I think they have a plan. They have a plan, and one thing is for sure, we need to score to win. We need to score to win. I'm not in the team like many years before, but I know the plan. If Bros, the coach, will wait in the back and try to counter-attack, try to press in the other team, Morocco, in front. Really, we don't know what is the plan. Need to wait and see. But definitely, we need to score, and the approach will be go forward.
Definitely. So, Coach, before we wrap up AFCON and before we say goodbye to you, we want to find out from you your thoughts. I mean, you're a goalkeeping expert, Andre Onana of Cameroon. There's a lot of talk with Onana as to, I remember in the previous World Cup where he was like, nope, this thing of playing from the back, I don't like it, but we do know that the game is evolving. Talk to us about that, the essential of keepers evolving with the game, and of course then with keepers being able to contribute and playing from the back.
Yeah, well, it's everybody talking about the modern football, and from goalkeeping point of view, the rules create a lot of differences, you know. The back pass, I mean, you need to make the goalkeeper to be more handy with the ball, you know, handy with the ball. more control with the ball and distribution, and make a huge difference. But the concept, or the new concept, is before the goalkeeper was big, strong, and stop the ball to go in. This was the priority. It still exists. But the difference is, now the same goalkeeper is to stop the ball to go forward. The principle is the same, stop priority for the goalkeeper not to concede goal, but in the same token, is the third player, is the player who started the lineup, even can create a scoring, and saying that need to training differently. Why? Because, like you say, it's a perfect word. The football evolved tremendously, and the goalkeeper is not the big guy who is in the back waiting when the ball comes. It's anticipation, is playing with the ball, create situation. The sense of the distribution is completely different, and the type of training, of course, and Onana is one of them.
He definitely is, and he's a Manchester United goalkeeper, so it doesn't shock me at all. I mean, if you're playing at the theatre of screams,
nightmares lately.
My class, you say screams, you say nightmare. Point is, it's not a great space right now, so we'll forgive Onana. All right, so gents, before we go, we've got that quiz of ours.
There you go again. Oh, no.
I know you guys hate it, but it's fun. So same principle applies. I'll ask you questions in a minute. You answer as many as you can. So we have, of course, a lock table. Currently, Sizo Mabena is leading. Ramatlasi, you gotta, Nah. Okay, so we're good with the quiz. We're good with the time. Let's go. Sizo Mabena, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. In 3, look at me doing 3. In 3, 2, 1. First question. She has won the African Championship, been to a World Cup. Her nickname is Forks. She plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. What's her name?
Nickname is Fox.
Yeah.
No, pass.
Okay, cool. He supports Liverpool FC. In 2021, he was from the Stormers, went to the Sharks. He scored his first international try in Durban. Cool. He became the fastest cricketer to reach 10 ODI centuries. He is a right-handed batsman. He captained the Dolphins.
Dolphins, right-handed. Pass.
Okay, who is the PSL top goal scorer?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Of all time, it's Siyabonga Nomved.
Which year did Manning Rangers win the PSL?
Win the PSL? Manning Rangers, 90... Ooh. I'm just going to guess 7.
90?
7? Guessing.
Okay. Which years did the Springboks win the World Cup?
Which years? 95, 2017, and last year.
Okay. Which club did... Okay, time. We'll find out in a bit, won't you?
Look at him, he's excited. He's like, there's rugby and cricket now.
Well balanced, eh?
That other one I think was Hashim Amla. I'm not sure, but I think.
Okay. So, we'll start with the one that you were supposed to answer then. Okay, you ready, Brahmatlati?
Yeah.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Which club did Benny McCarthy begin his football career at?
7 Stars.
Which season did Thembazwane win the PSL Footballer of the Season plus Midfielder of the Season?
2016.
Is that the final answer? Okay. In SA football, who is nicknamed 10-1-1?
Athazwane.
All right. South African swimmer Tatiana Schoenmaker specializes in which style?
100-meter breaststroke.
Who is South Africa's fastest man over 100 meters?
Clarence Munyai.
Who did SA play in the 1998 Africa Cup of Nations final?
998. Egypt.
She has won the African Championship, been to a World Cup. Her nickname is Fox. She plays for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Pass, I don't know.
All right, he supports Liverpool. In 2021, he is from the Stormers to the Sharks. He scored his first international try. Okay. He became the fastest cricketer to reach 10 ODI centuries. He is right-handed batsman. He captained the Dolphins.
Hashim Amla.
Who is the PSL top... All right,
He has so much time. Yeah, like twice the number of questions.
Because he was
like it was rigged. But you got so many right. My goodness, you got so many right. I got crashed this time. I'm sure.
You think so? We'll find out. We're taking it to our auditors to check right now so that you don't say we've rigged this one.
No, this time, no, I'll accept the feedback.
That's the comeback, eh?
I feel it too, eh? Coach, I mean, before we let you go and while we're getting our results, your thoughts, who do you think won between the two?
Maslanti won, Coach.
Well, that's
You think so? Are you saying it because Siso said it, or you think so?
no, because I think so. Yeah.
You know my
That's a fact.
All right, let's quickly find out the results. So we've got the results, and I'm happy to say it's not a tie. We have a winner in this round. Mahlatsin Patlele, huh? Journalist.
What a comeback.
Extraordinaire. You have done it. You've got 6. Sizo Mabena, you got 3.
Yeah.
So, Coach, you were right. I think that was a spot-on prediction.
This is the result of Bafana against Morocco.
Congratulations. So overall, that's 1-1, yeah? 1 win each. So we're tied on the log table, yeah?
That's it.
Yes.
I'm going to study over the next, 7 days?
And it's so sad. You were studying before we went on air. And
I'm guessing, what am I going to ask? You don't know what they want to ask. Yeah.
But thank you, gentlemen. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We're hoping to bring you back by the time the Afcon ends so that we can unpack everything because, sheesh, time just went by so quickly.
Yeah, really so quickly. Thank you very much to have me here. It was a pleasure to share with you. And, all the best for Bafana on Tuesday.
You said 6-3, yeah?
Everybody hope, eh?
6-3?
2-0.
Okay, we're toning it down a bit. 2-0 in favor of... I'm not going to ask you guys because I know you guys will definitely say Bafana. You let us know, how far do you think South Africa will go? Will it be a 2-0 victory for them? Or our boys coming back home? I really, really hope not. But from us at the Sports Arena Show, cheerio.